that, and he's agreed to head it. And then we'll be working, from all indications, we'll be working in collaboration with the county as well. And there'll be an announcement forthcoming on that. Really want to push that forward, and so I'm going to ask various people, companies, you name it, in our city, if you already start thinking about what you can do to contribute to this relief fund, I want to tell you it specifically will be aimed at addressing people who don't have insurance, don't have the financial means, their pipes burst, their homes were damaged, to give them some relief once, power is restored, water pressure is up. So please bear that in mind, and I suspect an announcement on that fund, a more detailed announcement, will be coming very soon. Because people's homes have been damaged, we recognize that there will be people putting out debris, probably as early, could be this weekend, going into next weekend. So I've been talking directly with Solid Waste, and we're getting ramped up to deal with that debris that we know will be being placed out on people's streets. We intend to resume some sort of normal schedule in terms of the recycling bin. We've been picking up the black bins, but to get right back on schedule to picking up the green bins as well, and then to prepare to pick up that added debris that will be placed outside of people's homes. So we recognize that's coming. We're preparing for that now because we want to pick it up as soon as we can. So again, I want to thank people in this city for being just very responsive, for opening up their arms. The shelters have remained open. Initially, they were scheduled for 72 hours, like at George R. Brown. We have kept that in place. We had dropped a night ago to below 600. Last night, the number went back up close to 700. And then I do want to thank the National Guard. They have come in and assisting over at the George R. Brown, and that's easing the pressure up on the city employees and others who are over there. So I certainly want to thank the State National Guard for assisting us at the George R. Brown. We will maintain that warming center, that site through today, probably going into overnight, and then we'll see how things fare tomorrow. So let me stop here. Let me first call on Director Haddock, and then I'll go from there.
Thank you, everybody. The men and women of Houston Public Works continue to work around the clock to be sure we get this water system back up to fully operational. We made great progress yesterday, and I want to thank each one of you for doing your part in helping reduce those leaks by shutting them off. I do need to remind everybody we remain in a boil water notice. It is very important that you understand that and that you make sure that any water that you're going to use for consumption, to drink, to brush your teeth, to wash your face, that you boil that water before you use it. Bring it to a full rolling boil for 2 minutes. As far as other uses around the house, it's perfectly fine. Use it to flush your toilet, to take showers. For those people with a weakened immune system or children who may not understand, we need to make sure that they do not drink the water while they are using it for showers and things of that nature. Now let me report on the water system. Yesterday our goal was to get to an average citywide system pressure of 30 psi by the end of the day.
Yes, you will.
At the end of the day yesterday, we had just pushed right under 35 psi. We're making really good progress, but we still had pockets where we had pressures that were still down around 20 in different areas of town. We spent the night recharging our groundwater storage tanks and our storage tanks, and this morning we pushed a second wave of pressure through the city, and we are seeing results throughout the city that right now the mayor said we're between 32 and 34 citywide. Those pockets of low pressure are coming up this morning as well. So we're asking each one of you to pay attention to it, to be patient with us. We very much appreciate your patience. But if you are still having low pressure at the end of the day today, we're asking that you do reach out to us and contact us to make sure that you know. What you're going to see as this pressure comes back through the city is that people in one-story homes and first and second story are going to see this pressure. But people in buildings that are further up, third and fourth story, it's going to be longer for that pressure to get back to serving the full water that you're used to in those upper floors. Our downtown buildings are beginning to see pressures restore to them as well. We got news just before we came on that the Hilton downtown and our federal facilities downtown both have sufficient pressure to be able to run their internal repressurization system. So it's all coming back online. The medical center reported to us late yesterday that they had enough pressure to repressurize their systems and keep doing what they needed to do. So we are making steady, sustainable progress on bringing this system back up, and we are confident that we'll be able to maintain this progress. It's going to take time to do it in a measured manner such that we don't pull ourselves out of this and then have something break and go back in. And so we're taking this very deliberate action to make sure we can achieve getting out and staying out of the boil water notice, and that our pressures will not fluctuate when we get there. I'll be available for questions later. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Haddock. And I want to thank Public Works, Director Haddock, your entire team, staff members who have stayed around the clock 24 hours because that's what it has taken. So I really want to thank them for just being laser focused. I want to thank people in the city of Houston for being patient. This has been tough. It's been a rough week, okay? So let me thank the people in this city, businesses, homeowners, people living in apartments, you name it, people in our jails even. I want to thank them for being very, very, very patient for this week. Because when you're having to deal with power outages and you couple that with low, if no water pressure at all, it has been a tough week. So I do want to thank you. The other thing, before I bring up the next person, I want to remind people on damage in your homes or in buildings. I know people want to be quick to make the repairs. I want you to make the repairs. Please document the damage in your home. Okay? What I mean by that, use your video, take pictures, because we are under a city state of emergency, county state of emergency. The state has declared an emergency, and the federal government has declared an emergency. So to the extent there's a possibility of being reimbursed for your costs, okay, please document the damages in your home. Ceiling has fallen in, take pictures of it. Furniture being damaged, take pictures. Structures having been damaged where the plumbers having to come in and really do damage your homes to fix your situation. Document the damages to your home, to your apartments, to your buildings. Please do that. That will help us as we move forward. Now let me bring on Chief Pena from the fire department.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning, everyone. The Houston Fire Department, the men and women of the Houston Fire Department continue to be focused on their mission, which is protection of life, safety, and property conservation. We have, our numbers are steadily dropping from over 3,000 calls per day just a few days ago. We're right under 2,000 calls today for the last 24 hours. The primary number of call incident types are fires and, again, medical emergencies and a lot of too many carbon monoxide type calls. So again, we want to reiterate those safety messages. Be careful what you use, what you burn inside your home to try to stay warm. We're expecting another freezing night tonight, and we want you to be cautious. We don't want you to lose your life or risk your health just for unnecessarily. It's all hands on deck for the fire department, Mayor. Thank you for your leadership as well. But it's all hands on deck for us. We have personnel out here distributing water. We even have our recruits out here. It's part of their community service, Mayor. So this is a good way for them to spend some time in serving their community. And I want to thank the departments of every one of the directors.
Well, there you have it, you guys. I just think it's important for you guys to listen to these updates and see how these cities are ran when things like this occur. As he stated, a lot of the calls are carbon monoxide calls, fire burns in the home, different things of that nature. That he's saying they were receiving up to 3,000 calls a day. In the midst, in the climax of this whole disaster, all you would hear throughout the city all day and all night long was sirens, whether it be police cars, whether it would be ambulance, whether it be fire trucks. That's all you would hear, and it would be tormenting. Only time I hear that kind of noise is when I'm in New York. Because, that's a huge city with a lot of people, so it's always something traumatic going on. Let's see what the police chief have to say.
College. So, Mayor, good morning, everyone. First of all, I want to thank you for your leadership and guidance, and to Carol Haddock and her team especially. Thank you, because water's starting to come back up, and it's a lifeblood. So I want to give Carol a big shout out. The police department's completely deployed and mobilized, continues to be mobilized. Happy to report that throughout this entire operational period, starting at 6 p.m. on Sunday, we have really kept up with our call load. We have no calls stacked up. We're completely operational, but there's a word of warning that I need to give out, and that is, as disasters happen, there will be a lot of con artists coming to your homes, especially the elderly. Be aware of these contractors. Make sure you know who you're dealing with. Make sure you get identification from who you're dealing with. Make sure that you be scrutinize who you're dealing with, because there will be a lot of fake contractors coming around. They will take your money and provide nothing. The last thing I want to put out there is that all of our highways within the city of Houston are open. They're in good shape, but tonight we will have a freeze again, the last freeze, thank God. So tonight, if you go out at night, especially in the middle of the night, just use caution, especially in areas that normally don't get sun, elevated areas. We could have some refreezing if there's any water left. And lastly, to our police officers and the men and women of the Houston Police Department, I want to thank them. There's been all hands on deck, like the fire department.
So yeah, you guys, we're still under a water boil notice. We have another freeze that will occur tonight, unfortunately. That was Chief Acevedo, the Houston Police Chief, saying to also beware of con artists during these times. People are going to come and they're going to act like they're plumbers. They're going to act like they're FEMA. They're going to pretend as if they're Red Cross, only to get in your house, either rob you, hurt you, or act like they're about to do a service or a job with your house. So many people have so many damages in their home, and to only take your money and leave you empty-handed. So I think it's important for the prepping community to hear these updates and to see these things, because like I stated to you guys, a lot of you guys have followed me for years when I did my prepping channel on my music channel, because I'm also a musician and vocalist, before I separated the two, that I just think I lost my train of thought. But like I would say on my prepping video, I've been a prepper. I've been prepping for a very long time, and this caught me off guard. So this would allow us to increase our skills, sharpen our minds, be more prepared, because this was on a whole nother level of SHTF. When I tell you, being a native Houstonian, I've always been well, not always, but being from here and been in so many different hurricanes, floods, tornadoes, thunderstorms, floods, etc. I had to learn to keep a lot of non-perishables. I had to learn to get my 55 water gallon barrels and keep them full of water. I had to learn to have protection for me and my family, whether it be bow and arrows, knives, or whatever the case is. I had to learn to keep emergency funds set aside. I had to learn to have animals to tell me when someone's by my house, and to have generators and things like that. But this even caught a person like me off guard. So, I've never ever been in a winter freeze the way we were out here. And the crazy thing about this situation is, I had just left New York a week prior to this happening, and we had a snowstorm there. And for that one day, it shut the entire city down, but it was nothing like out here. It wasn't as cold, it wasn't as rigid, and of course, there were no power outages, because the power outage made it even worse. Okay, so you guys, I think, let's see what he's saying.
And move forward. For many people in our city who are already on the margins, who had very little, if any, disposable income, and were fighting every day just to keep.
They're saying that they're putting a fund together for those who are less fortunate, who don't have the money to do the repairs, to replace their furniture, replace their roofs. And they're saying that more than 99% of CenterPoint's energy lights are back on. That's good news because that's the main thing that we were really aiming for. But as you can see, we still continue to have a water problem here in the city of Houston. Okay, you guys, if you like the commentary and you appreciate these updates, please give me a thumbs up and hit the red button and subscribe to the channel. I will continue to follow what's going on here in the city of Houston, here in the state of Texas. If you'd like to continue to have access to this commentary, hit that subscribe button. And you can always go to zanherald.com to get any of your prepping needs, whether it be land, if you're looking for land here in the state of Texas. If you're not looking for land in Texas, if you're looking for land anywhere else, you can always go to my email, that's prepperzan@gmail.com, and inquire about land in whatever area you're looking for land for. We also have a lot of non-perishables on my site. We also have, I think, generators. I don't know if I've put them back up, and also like your personal protective gear, your masks, your gloves. And I always tell you guys in each one of my videos that you don't have to get it from me, but make sure that you do get it. If you'd like to help me and my family and the people here in Houston in any way, you can cash at me at $sign Zan Herald, ZANHARROLD, or you can send it through PayPal at Zan New York, ZANNEWWORK 061@gmail.com. I'd like to thank you in advance, and I would only just provide aid for my family. I would also give it to other Houstonians in need, whether it be getting water for them, blankets, supplies, or whatever the case is. Thank you guys so much. Until next time, be blessed and not stressed. ZanHerald.com.